What's up guys, macadii here, and today guys, a brand new moveset and strategy guide video. What we're going to be doing is having a look at Ninetales Alola, looking at some of the potential sets, how best to run it, and things like that. So if you guys enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like down below, I would really appreciate it. First of all, we'll have a look at its abilities and its stats, and then we'll go into some potential sets on there, going from sort of, I would argue, the most viable on the left, down to sort of slightly more memey, but still, you know, could have potential on your team. So if we have a look at its abilities, it does get two options for abilities, the Snow Cloak and the Snow Warning. You always want to be clicking that Snow Warning because that gives you, it allows you to summon Hail, makes your Blizzards 100% accurate. You can use Aurora Veil if you have that move, which is also really nice, and also it causes chip damage to your opponent. If you also got Pokemon on your team with Slush Rush, which doubles their speed and Hail, that's also really nice. So it helps you a lot, just in a lot of different ways, and there's almost no reason I can see for you to run Snow Cloak on this guy. We've then got the stats, which are a little bit lackluster, I must admit. The speed is really nice. The typing's pretty good because it gives you really nice offensive typing. You are walled a little bit by things like Toxapex and stuff like that, but we've got ways to be able to work around it, so it's not the worst thing in the world. 81 special attack is very lackluster, but considering you can hit, you know, get your Blizzards hitting 100% accurately, that does partly make up for it, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And you can also sort of fix that by having like Life Orb and Specs and things like that. It is a bit of a shame that the speed isn't just a tiny bit higher, because not being able to outspeed those base 110s is a bit of a pain, but still it's a really nice speed tier to be at, and you've still got respectable bulk, so you should hopefully be able to live at least one hit as long as it's not super effective. Defensively though, your typing is pretty awful. But then you have that speed to be able to make up for it, so hopefully you won't have to take too many hits. The first tech that I've got here is a offensive Life Orb, which I think is probably the best way to run it if you want to use it as a wall breaker. There is a support set we will run into as well. I would probably rank them about the same depending on what you want in your team. But this looks to be a pretty good set. So we've got the Blizzard there, which gives you 100% accurate Blizzards, base 110 power, which is really, really nice. The Life Orb there boosts your special attack, and you really need that to get some extra power. See, like 261 special attack when max investment is really not that great, especially with how offensive and sort of powerful a lot of other Pokemon are. To make it that, make it viable, make it better than other Pokemon, you kind of need to have that extra chip damage there with the Life Orb. You then got Moonblast for secondary stab, and then the Freeze Dry here. So the Freeze Dry is for water types, but it also helps you handle Toxapex, because unfortunately Toxapex handles both Blizzard and also Moonblast. You do have to watch out for Sludge Bombs from them, but most of the time they're running Schooled, so if you've got your Freeze Dry, you can start punishing that guy if he wants to come in. We're also playing it a little bit anti-meta with this one, because Alolan Marowak is very, very common right now. I think it's second highest in usage, and obviously it resists both Ice and also Fairy, so it's a very common switch for this guy. So having the Dark Pulse there is really nice, because you can catch them off guard and deal a whole load of damage from there, and have the chance to potentially 2-hit Kira. I'm pretty sure after Rocks you will be able to 2-hit Kira, especially defensive one from there, so that's pretty sweet. If you want a little bit of extra power and you don't want to have that Life Orb recall, but then you have to sort of trade off for not being able to switch up your moves, then this set's probably the slightly better one for you, where you've got the Specs. So you do hit, you got 1.5 times your Specs rather than 1.3 times, but as I said, you can't change your moves up, so you do struggle a little bit more with things like the Alolan Marowak and Toxapex that could switch in, especially if you're locked into Freeze Dry, so or you know, or Dark or Blizzard and stuff like that. So it's just making sure that you get your predictions right with this one, but it does give you the bonus of giving you more power, and also you don't lose 10% of your health each time. The other option we've got here is the support one, which you can either run offensively, so you could invest in special attack if you want to, which we've actually got that for the offensive support one here. So this one's more of a bulkier set designed to basically support your team. You want it on like a hyper offensive team, which is going to be requiring like the equivalent of screens to be able to set up. And when you've got, actually that's not meant to be Snow Cloak, they're all meant to be Snow Warning. I apologise if there's any mix up, but they're all going to be Snow Warning, so they're going to set up the Hail, you can set up Aurora Veil, and then you've got 8 turns of dual screens basically, which is really, really nice, and it really helps you know, your Pokemon set up, so that's pretty good. And then we got the Freeze Dry, the Moonblast, and then you can either go for Blizzard if you want to be doing a bit of damage, but considering your special attack isn't that great, Hypnosis could also have potential if you want to. It's, you know, it's kind of what you prefer from there, if you want a move with a little bit more power, or whether you want to go for the option of Hypnosis to be able to send your opponents to sleep, and then you can come into a setup sweeper that's already got Aurora Veil and they're asleep, and you're pretty much guaranteed to set up from there. Freeze Dry is also really crucial because it allows you to take on Pelipper, because Pelipper can really rain in your parade if it comes in. At least that way you can fire off a Freeze Dry, just bop it from there because it's quad weak to that because of how it's super effective versus water types, and you can basically win the matchup from there. It just also just really deters it, so it's just really nice to have that move as an option there. As I said as well, you can also go for the offensive support set, which is going to have the Blizzard instead, and also some special attack investments. So it doesn't take hits as well compared to the support set, but you've still got the option for Aurora Veil, so you're still going to be pretty bulky, and you've then got the added option of extra attack, and also the fact you've got Blizzard there for even more damage. Now, moving on to the slightly more memey ones, you've got the option here for Sub Nasty Plot. The only problem I've got with this one is, first of all, the lack of power to start with. You can also run it max speed if you want to, or you can run it modest, depending on what you want. Thinking about it, actually, I would probably be more inclined to go max speed, just because you want that extra speed to be able to make sure you're harder to revenge kill, and you can just fire off hits. You got the Freeze Dry there because you kind of have to have that for Tox Pecs and stuff like that, because otherwise that guy is going to cause you a whole load of issues. And then obviously the Moonblast from there. You basically set up a sub because you force quite a few switches because of your offensive typing. Set up the sub, you can Nasty Plot up, and then you can go on and start hopefully getting a bit of a sweep going from there. The speed isn't enough though to really get a good sweep going, I would say. So you'll probably either want to use it late game if you want to try and sort of sweep later on, you know, get that sub up and start sort of winning from there. Or you want to use it earlier game where you want to then use it to wall break. You know, cause your opponent to have to sack some Pokemon to be able to stop you from sweeping, and then it sort of carves the way for other Pokemon to come through from there. Finally, we've got a very, very memey one, which, you know, if you want to give it a go, I would say, but as I said, I'm putting a big disclaimer that this one probably isn't the best way to go. This is the Psychium Z with Hypnosis, with modest nature, and the rest put in speed. So basically how this one works is you go for the Z Hypnosis, and what the Z Hypnosis does is ups your speed by 50%, which is really, really great, so you can start outspeeding things, sends them to sleep. If you hit, that's the thing, you gotta hit, which if it's me, I wouldn't even go anywhere near the set, and then you can set up a Nasty Plot, and then basically start getting a sweep going from there, because you double your special attack, and then you got the combination of Freeze Dry and Moonblast from there. So that's some of the ways you can run this guy. Let me know, guys, down below if there's any other sets that you think work really well. And yeah, if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.